Hello, Kirsten. This is a follow-up to our discussion over the telephone on Friday about some poetry recordings. I think I said I was going to send you an email, but I thought I would record it instead and embed that in the email. It seems more appropriate in the circumstances. I think best if I tell you the story. It goes back several years. As I mentioned to you, my mum suffered from dementia, and she was wonderfully cared for by a nursing home in Yorkshire, near where I live. After she died, the care workers came to me. They knew I did quite a lot of acting, and they said lots of their residents were keen to have some poetry. And although the home got a lot of musicians in, pianists, guitarists, singers, there was no one who was reading poetry. And they asked if I would. So I said, yes, of course. We didn't know how it was going to go. But the sessions became very, very popular and became one of my favourite activities. We used to read, or I used to read, to all the residents. There were quite a lot of residents in that home with dementia, and a lot who were mentally very, very sharp. They just were a little bit frail and elderly. And the different people tended to respond in different ways. The people who had all their mental faculties participated in the readings, asked for their favourites, and we used to discuss the poems as we went. Those with dementia, though, it was a fascinating response. And what seems to be is that we all know that music is really powerful for those with dementia. It seems that poetry has the same effect. It seems to take the patients with dementia into a safe place, into a place of lovely memories, memories of childhood, of families, of reading together. And I remember once I was reading a poem, and one of the care workers said to me afterwards, one of the ladies you were reading to hasn't smiled for months, and yet she was smiling all the time you were reading the poetry. And then on another occasion, there was a gentleman who had dementia. I was reading one of the Cats poems by T.S. Eliot, and I slipped on a few of the words, and he prompted me. And then at the end, he recited himself The Railway Cat, another poem by T.S. Eliot. It's a long poem, and he recited it without any mistakes. And at the end, he smiled brightly, and everyone clapped. And it was so wonderful. I mean, you will have had the same sort of experience of that wonderful connection with people when something really wonderful, exciting happens to them, and they take this happiness and contentment. Now, obviously, these sessions went well until this year. And with lockdown, I wasn't able to go into the homes. The care workers were very keen that I continued in some way with the work. And we tried a couple of Skype sessions, but that didn't really work. And so eventually we hit on the idea of recording. And my wife recorded me on the mobile phone in various locations at home, as I am now, out in the garden, in the dales, by rivers, interesting backgrounds. And I would record a number of poems for each session. And the care workers would take these recordings, which are on YouTube, and use them in their entertainment sessions. And they'd use them on a one-to-one, sometimes in someone's bedroom, on their tablet or iPad, for those that were too frail to get out of bed. And for those who were in the lounges, they would cast them perhaps onto TV, or just work through their laptop or even their phone. And the residents would join in and make their comments, and then they'd stop the video and perhaps read other poems, or get the residents to read. And so it's been really, really successful and really popular. And I would love to share this with more homes. And in the light of what you said, I thought, well, I'll let you have this introduction. I've also put on my email a link for one of the sessions, actually a session we recorded in the summer, out in one of the hay meadows in the Dales. A number of poems, starting I think with The Owl and the Pussycat. So by all means, have a look at that, share that with your residents, see what they think, get their comments. And if you think it's useful in any way at all, let me know. And I'll be very happy to give you the other links. We're now working on a Christmas recording, and we'll let you have the links as they come out. Look forward to hearing from you. Just ping me an email and we can keep in touch. Thanks very much for listening. Bye, Kirsten.